Hi guys, so today I want to talk about creating and working with global styles. Okay, so what you see here, I made a simple example of, I have two mobile screens. Of course, as I always say, it doesn't matter if you're on mobile or desktop, it's the same thing. At the end of the day, each screen in Figma is a frame. Okay, so it doesn't matter really. I just have here kind of like a simple form with a sign up, log in. You have an input text component and this button. Yeah, of course, kind of like very simple. Sign in I have here, and the other screen has this content card, which I did on a with really kind of like look to see how it looks, and then I can just change the content and do other ones from it. It has buttons that are labeled here, that are done here. Actually, these icons, this one can be empty or not, doesn't matter anyway. Yeah, and this dialogue, which actually is built from the same kind of like components of this content card, but just without the image and arranged a bit different. Okay, anyway, so see all these styles that I made here. You see form labels, button labels, card title. By the way, label is a name for just a name. Okay, I mean, just if you're not familiar with this kind of like naming of it. So a label here, of course, can be any name that I want. I mean, here it's written label just to be something global, and here I can write full name, email, mobile, and so on. By the way, this is with a real text, but it's just a label. At the end of the day, I can just name it here anything that I want. Okay, so just can give it a different name, and that's okay. I can make it also a content property. I didn't make it, but that's okay. Doesn't matter so much for right now. We're talking about the text styles, color styles, and effect styles, and also grid styles, which I can also give a frame. So for example, how does it work? Let's say that I want these labels, and by the way, here you see them on one component, but of course, if it's a big design system, or not even a big, but kind of like a regular normal design system, of course, you will have a lot of components using this label. So now you see it only on one, but imagine that you have like 20 or 30 other components that are using this label, and then suddenly you want to change them all at once. This is the thing with working with global styles. Okay, so instead of going to each component and just changing them physically in the component itself, so we have form labels. I can just click on it. Okay, and sorry, yeah, just click on it, and then I see this dialog, which it doesn't hold, by the way, the color of the text. It's a separate thing, but it holds the text style itself, the name, which I can change if I want to. It has the font, it has the weight, the size, and the line height and spacing, and so on. So let's say if I want to make it a bit bigger, I make it, let's say 16. So you see that the moment I made that, all the labels that are using this font, this actual style, they just went bigger. Okay, so you can see, I mean, like easily these ones are using 1 second. This is, by the way, an auto layout, which I have to make it to the middle, and I have to arrange it in a way which this will be, by the way, better like that. Yeah, this is better, and it has to be, by the way, constrained to this frame that holds it. I'll put it in the center. Now actually, when I'll play with the, let's say when I'll play with this, they're using the same font, by the way, the same style, sorry, this one. So basically, if I'll go into the form labels and now change it, yeah, now it behaves okay. This one, I guess, doesn't use this style, but anyway, yeah, so yeah, this one is the not using this style, so that's why yeah, I see it's a free text, it doesn't use the style. By the way, I can give it the form labels, and when I give it the form labels, now, by the way, when I'll do that, so the form labels, you will see that when I change the size of it, this one changes with it. Okay, of course I can decide if I do want it attached to this one or not, to the form labels. Anyway, yeah, but basically, I mean, it's not so right to do that because it's confusing. Yeah, it's happened to me right now. Anyway, okay, so fonts, of course, pretty understandable. Content card, which is using, and again, I'm saying you're gonna have a lot of content cards, blah blah blah. I mean, like, you know, you're gonna have a big design system with a lot of let's say content cards that are using the same style as this one. As you see, it's using the card title style. Okay, the card title style, and of course if I change that card title, and of course if I change that to, let's say, 22, then it's gonna grow bigger. And if I change that back to 18, then it gets back to be 18, and so on. So you do understand how it works. Color, the same thing. Let's say that you want to change in one shot all the components and buttons and whatever icons that are using this color. Okay, let's say the brand fuchsia, and let's say that you want to change it to blue. Besides changing the name of it, of course, then you can just hit this one. And if you see now, that's annoying. Why are you keeping on closing all the time? Let me just respond here for a sec. Okay, so now actually you see if I'm changing the color of it, you will see all of them changing together. Okay, so I can do that all in one shot. And that is great when you're actually working with a brand color and there's a change to this color, or you want to show like different examples. So yeah, so that's pretty easy to do. So again, each component element on the screen, it doesn't have to be a component, by the way, don't get me wrong here. Even if it's not a component and it's using this style, it will change when you change it from here. And same thing, yeah, same thing you can do with effect style. So let's say if I have here this one and I want to give it one of my styles, the card shadow here, that it is, so it's the same shadow as these ones, and you can combine them all together. Let's see how to do that. Okay, so let's see how to create them and manage them easily. Let's call them styles. Let's call this page styles. Okay, so I'm making a frame here which will hold a button, yeah, something like that, I guess. And yeah, text, and I'm gonna give it a, okay, so by the way, if I don't want something to be working, sorry, with the style, I can just detach it. Okay, detach style, and then you can just freely give it whatever you want. The moment you give it a style, if I take one from these ones, then you can just click and change whatever you have in your styles. Okay, so that kind of like forces you to work only with styles, which is good, by the way, and not have it a jungle that each one of the designers, for example, just give it anything he wants, or yeah, it's not, doesn't look the same, and so on. That's the whole idea of working with styles. Hello, yes, this is the whole idea. Okay, so let's put it here, and let's say, okay, I'm saying for me this is good, that looks like a good size and weight for buttons. I say, okay, great, now I want to add this style. So, oh, but I have all these other ones. Yeah, you know what, let me just delete these styles. Yeah, delete 5 styles, bye bye, and delete all these ones, bye bye. That's, we're kind of like going crazy with this. Delete and delete. Okay, we're gonna do that now. Okay, anyway, so this one looks to me like a great one for the buttons that I'm making, and I say, okay, this will be a component that is going to be its size, and okay, making it a component. Let's call it a Benjamin button. Yes, and we're gonna do something like, oh, that's a very interesting button. Pretty challenging, yeah. Okay, so that's not gonna be the one I meant here. Yeah, that's what I meant. And okay, so this one can be, we can make it a style. So we click on this one, you see that on the text and the feel and the stroke and the effects, you have this four style icon. So what you do actually is you click on it, and then you have the plus button. Okay, the plus create a style. So let's call it a button label. Okay, button label, that means that this will be the style of the text on the buttons. Okay, the button color, by the way, we can add this color white. Sometimes it's just very comfortable to have a white as a text color. No, sorry, I need to press the plus and give it a white here. Yeah, okay, white, and then create style. So now I have it as a style. Why am I doing the white, which is a very simple color all the time to add? Because notice the fact that if I'll add another color, you see I have to detach it in order to give it another color which is not in my styles. Let's give this one for now, I'll detach it and give it a different color. Let's give it kind of like a turkey. No, on this background it doesn't work very nice. Let's give it kind of like an orange. Yeah, okay, that is a good color. Okay, orange, and this one we're gonna add as a color style, so let's call it orange. How surprising. Yeah, so now if you see, if I want it on a white background, I can just switch it here, click on the white. Otherwise, if it's on the orange and I want to give it a white color, I have to detach it and then give it a white color, which is a bit annoying sometimes in some ways or some situations. Okay, so this is how we gave it a color style and a text style. And I guess that that's pretty understandable. And again, if we have some kind of a content card here, let's do something like that and give it an image. Here will be an image, okay? And we're gonna have a title. And the title is going to be, by the way, the title we will give, let's say 30, and give it a bold, and that's okay. So this is going to be, again, I'm gonna add a style, call it a cards, or we call it a content card title, because we can have many titles, or we have other titles. We have titles of a page, title of a content card, title of I don't know, some pop-up that we have, and so on and so on. So it doesn't always have to be the same, but of course we can use the same one just to know what it is. Okay, so we have that as a style, and we already have two styles here. Okay, the moment when you don't actually select anything on your page, so you see all the styles lined up here. Okay, so we created a text style, we created color style, and you can also, by the way, you can put them inside folders if you want. So here I can I can click on add new folder. Okay, add new folder. Let's call it brand colors, or just call it brand. Okay, brand, and then I can just drag this one inside, and I have a folder with the brand colors, and of course I can have many folders here. Okay, I can just add a new folder, and I mean, I can put this one inside a folder, but let's call it or let's say option 2. It doesn't matter, this one I can just drag out. Oh, because it's empty, it's not gonna hold the folder, which is, by the way, is good. Okay, but it's good in a way. Sometimes it's a bit annoying, honestly, but basically it's good not just to have empty folders, empty groups, and so on. But yeah, okay, so next time I can just put another style and put it in a folder. Now the thing is that if I give this title, let's say, just, I don't know, I'll give it a different color. Let's give it a purple color. Don't ask me why. That's what I had in mind. That's okay. So then I want to put this color in the same folder, by the way, of the brand. Okay. So what I can do is I can just hit the plus and do like that. Brand, that is the folder, slash, and call it purple, or any, of course, any name that I want. It's just a name that I'm giving it a simple name, create style. Now you will see that when I go here, this purple color is already in that folder because I gave it the name of the folder and just slash, and after that the name. By the way, I can just do, let's say that I do something here. It's gonna be a button, creating weird things on the screen here, but never mind. Just for the sake of the tutorial, which is okay. Let's call it like this one, I say, yeah, let's call it blue. Okay, how surprising, blue. So now if I want, I can leave it outside and create another folder to it, or I can just easily drag it here, and when I drag it here, it's inside this folder. Done. Okay, so that's, again, text styles, color styles. I think that's pretty understandable. And the other styles that we're gonna have is effects. Now let's say that this amazingly looking content card, one of the best ones I did, yeah, something like that, I want to give it a shadow. Okay, so let's give this one a shadow. If I press on effects, I click, press on effects, yes, drop shadow, and let's give it a blur of 30, and give this one, by the way, let me give it kind of like a round corners. This one is gonna be the same because it's looking weird like that. Give it even a bit more, no, less, sorry. I'm gonna give it like 16. Yeah, now it looks good. Okay, amazing. Yes, and now sorry, and now, okay, I'm gonna open this one again, and this one, by the way, yeah, I'm gonna give it like 18, I guess. The opacity, maybe this one is a bit too much. Let's give it a 24. And the Y position, yeah, we'll leave it like that. That's okay. Now I want to save that as a style, and of course I can do that the same way. Click here, sorry, did it fast. So I click here, you see the style, I click on it, and then I click the plus. By the way, I can browse through libraries. I will show how to publish these styles soon. And let's call it cards shadow. Or it can be also a global shadow for, I don't know, for anything that you want to use. Of course, I'm doing it locally here as I see right. In your designs, as I always say, you just do whatever is right for you. I'm just showing you how to use it. Okay, so now, of course, if I open a new card here and I want to give it a shadow, I can click just here and click the card shadow, and there we go, we have the shadow. Okay, good. So that's how you create a one effect style. Now I want to show another thing and explain that more. Yeah, I mean, when you do more than one effect, you can save a few effects under one style, a few colors, a few fonts you can't, but a few colors you can. I mean, because I'm saying a few colors because you can do, let's say, this color, and then you want to add, let's say, let's put it on a white background just to see how it looks. And here, let me give it a 50%, and let's say that I want to add another color to it, put it, I don't know, don't ask me why, I know it's looking weird, but anyway, yeah, something like that. And you have a 20% blue on it, and it's a 50% this whatever kind of red. So you can save that as a style. Okay, if I save that as a style and call it a color mix, so that is saved as a style. Okay, you see here, color mix, and when I open that to edit, we see the colors that are actually inside this this style. Okay, so of course I can just apply it to anything that I want, give it a color mix. Here it is, and boom, we have the color mix. Okay, so just to explain that. Effects, the same thing. Let's do something like that, and I'm gonna give it, let's give it a feel. I'm gonna use unsplash. Oh, nice. Unsplash was kind of like, go ahead, take me. Okay, so that's good. And let's give it colorful. Let's see what we have here. Oh, this one is interesting. Okay, let's give this one. Oh, nice. Okay, let's give this one a try. And what I want to do now is give it a background blur with a shadow. Like I'm going to the end, until the end. Something like that. I'm walking on the edge. Yes, so give it a feel, and let's give it, you know what, a 10-20%. Yes, something like that. And I want to give it a kind of like, I don't know, obsessive with the round corners thing, but yeah, something like that. And effects, give it a background blur. And of course, let's give it a bigger blur. Let's do something like that. Yeah, I guess that's okay. And now, yeah. And now I want to add another style to it. Let's give it a drop shadow, and the drop shadow is going to be, let's say, in a 10 pixels blur, maybe even more, like 14. Give it a 20, and yeah, of course you can give it any style that you want. Yeah, that's okay. So okay, so I did something like that. And now, by the way, when I save this one as a style, again, it saves them as both, meaning now it's going to be, it's going to be a, let's say, blur. I'm going to call it plus shadow. Okay, blur plus shadow, and that's it. I have it as a style here. Okay, and of course the next one that I'll just put here, let's give it a white and give it this effect. Yeah, you see, but of course, I mean, yes, it did give it the effects, but I need to do, in order to see the blur, I need to lower the color opacity. Okay, so here, by the way, when I'm using this, I mean, it was wrong to use it like that, but when I'm using this style, so I have to detach it, and then I can give it like, let's say 20%, and then I can see the blur. Okay, because when I'm using a style, I cannot change its opacity and so on. And when we are working, by the way, just reminding, with the background blur, I can't, I do the opacity on the color itself and not on the layer. Okay, so it's not the same thing. Yeah, so we have that as well. And basically, okay, so we have our colors, styles, whatever. I think it's pretty understandable. By the way, another thing that you can save as a style, let's say that I have here a, let's say something like that. Oh, whoa, hey, it easy there. Okay, something like that. And I want to give it a, let's call it a screen, and I want to give it a grid, a layout grid, not that thing. I want to give it columns, and let's give it a 8, and let's give it margin of, let's say, I don't know, 200, something like that. And we are on stretch, that's okay. And let's give it a different, I hate this color. Oh, that is good. And let's give it kind of like 6, 8, no, 6. Okay, and some I'm like, I can't decide. Yeah, something like that. Let's give it a 8. Okay, and then now I can save it as a style. As you understand, when you see this style thing, so I can just click on it and create it, and let's call it a screen grid. no, we don't have to write a screen grid, just call it a grid, and or let's say default grid. Okay, default grid. And by the way, so the next screen that I do, if I'm not just copying this frame, of course, if I'll copy the frame, it will copy it with the grid. But if I'm just creating another screen, let's give it the same dimensions, give it a 940, again 940, something like that. And then of course I can apply this default grid and it's gonna have the same grid. Okay, by the way, this grid, again, I can do a plus if I detach it. Okay, and I do a grid that is built from columns and rows. Let me do it for just 2 seconds. Yeah, this is columns. Okay, and I'm adding another grid which will be rows. Okay, so basically I can save also that. Okay, I can save it as one style, and I'm gonna have both of them in this style. So just yeah, putting it anyway. Yeah, so now let's say that I want to use these, all the amazing styles that I've created here in other files as well. Okay, assets, I go to library, and this is called global styles. So I can just publish it. You see current file, global styles, and then it tells me, it shows me everything that it publishes. You can select or choose if you wanna publish the components as well, or you want to have just the styles. Okay, so that you can decide whatever you want. Let's say, okay, publish. Yeah, so now it's published, and let's say that now I want to open a new file. Let's say yeah, let's Figma, figma.com. Yeah, and let's open a new style. By the way, okay, I'm gonna open a new file, not a new style, sorry, a new file. That's what I meant. Let's call it styles 2. Now, you see now that it's in my drafts. Okay, if it's in drafts, basically, I mean, I don't think that I can use this libraries. Let me see that global. Oh yeah, I can. Maybe, I don't know. Let me see global styles. Yeah, I can use it. Okay, sure. So I'm using that in a, you see global styles here, page 1, styles, and basically I do a shape here. Let's give it some kind of a color, something like that. And of course now I have, 1 second, yeah, effects. Okay, so the styles, I mean, I don't see them listed here like I saw them in this one. I mean, I don't see them listed out here, but I can use these styles. So imagine if like we're a company and we're working on like I don't know, screen elements, components, and so on, like in our everyday doings, and I want to give a style from the global library that we have on styles to this one. So of course I can just go here, effects, and I can select card shadow. There we go, so we have it. Okay, and then of course the colors and so on. So I see the colors that we did here. Second, yeah, these are the ones, global styles and the brand. So of course here I have another thing which is kind of like, I can go here and just turn it off. So we don't need this one, and we don't need this one, and we don't need this one. And now, by the way, I'm gonna have it like, you see. So now I see only the ones that I want to see. So I can use all these styles, of course, and text. Same thing, just giving a quick one. And I can use the content card or the button label and so on. So here it is. So that's it, guys. I think we kind of like nailed it, sorry, till the end. Of course, always feel free to ask me questions, ask me for more tutorials, say whatever you need and want to know, which I haven't covered yet. either in this tutorial, or if you want other tutorials that I didn't make, just tell me, write to me freely. That's okay. That is super okay, actually. And I guess that that's about it, guys. So thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I would be very happy for your like if you did like it. I would be more happy even if you subscribe to my channel and support this channel, let it grow, and kind of like do more and be more. And see you in the next tutorial, I guess. Thanks a lot, guys, and bye for now.